What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about the Bitcoin and crypto news. Market's holding fairly steady at the moment. Obviously, it retraced somewhat yesterday off the Evergrande ratings change, which caused FUD and price dips across every financial market. So I'm going to talk about a couple of pieces of news that are out today. Well, one in particular. Before I do, as always, I update the spreadsheet. These are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel that I thought would smash it in the cycle. If you'd invested $100 to each one when I released the videos, you're in profit for 49k. I've held them all, I've closed positions on them all, and I've reinvested into new cryptos. So if you want to see what I'm in, you can check out Copy My Crypto. We've had some big wins recently, and on top of that, there's wins to come. There's some big wins to come. Biggest holdings are ready to explode. This market is not in a bear cycle like some people have fudded around. And one thing I do want to reiterate, at some point a bear cycle will kick in. And when that does happen, be prepared. And to do that, make sure you've been taking profits throughout this cycle. And then when the bear cycle kicks in, everything's on discount. Stick around, find those coins that are massively undervalued, that have another good run in them. That's literally all I do in bear cycles. That's how I find Phantom. So if you want to see what I think are going to absolutely run wild in the bear cycle, then you want to keep an eye on Copy My Crypto. Right. So market is the American markets have been open for about 20 minutes. To be fair, Bitcoin in the time since the markets have opened seem to have begun a second retrace. I think they actually ran up pretty well prior to all of this. Yeah. So for the sort of last hour before the markets opened, Bitcoin actually managed to close to touching the 50k mark, and in the last 4 minutes, it's dropped by about $1,000. So there might be continued blood in the water for the old Evergrande FUD that has certainly hit every market around. One thing that was very interesting, Forbes. I'm not a fan of Forbes. Anyone that knows this channel knows I'm not a fan of Forbes. The main reason being is that they are super negative about crypto. And everything always has a slant of that regard. Now, what we've seen, and you can see this sort of slant at the start where it's the worrying bubble warnings narrative. But they actually quoted one of the Bloomberg's senior commodity strategist, Mike McClone, and his latest research. So he stated that we expect the US to embrace crypto in 2020 with proper regulation and related bullish price implication. The unlimited supply of fiat currency should sustain rising prices, notably in Bitcoin and Ethereum, which have limited supplies. He actually went on to also note renewed impetus from the Federal Reserve to take away the punch bowl and declining bond yields may point to a macroeconomic environment in 2022 that favors top cryptos like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Crypto assets showing divergent strength versus equities near the end of 2021 may portend continued digital asset outperformance in 2022. A primary force to reverse expectations for the Federal Reserve tightening in 2022 is a drop in the stock market, which may be a bit of a win-win for Bitcoin. Bitcoin appears to be on a trajectory for $100,000, well on its way to becoming a digital store of value, similar to gold. Something that I've spoken about on this channel multiple times. We see it as more of a question of time, notably due to the economic basics of increasing demand versus decreasing supply. He then went on to say he warned that the Ethereum price could be overextended, but will likely remain in a range of $4,000 to $5,000 per ETH. Ethereum enters 22 with rising adoption and declining supply, while having withstood a substantial correction this year. The key question is how overextended price may need to get for a pullback, and how deep into support the number 2 crypto may dip until it finds responsive buyers. Adding 4K may act as the key pivot for 2022. Now, one thing I would point out is that it's not under that. Like at the moment, that 4 to 5K range, he may be right to some degree in terms of sticking around there for a little bit. What we are not going to see is it stop at 5K though, not in this cycle. Ethereum now is burning on a regular basis. With effectively with every transaction, there's some elements of Ethereum burnt. There's been a ton burnt. Ethereum is still the largest ecosystem by far. The amount of things built upon it on a daily basis, the amount of transactions that occur across Ethereum on a daily basis. Ethereum is not going to stop at 5, and it's I understand being conservative in price predictions, but especially from a sort of Bloomberg analyst. But it's interesting that Forbes are quoting that. But Ethereum's not going to stop at 5K. Ethereum will still run and run very, very hard. Then BBC have thrown out some FUD. Football fans spending millions on club crypto tokens. Football clubs have potentially made hundreds of millions of pounds selling controversial. Why are they controversial? Why are they controversial? Some are offering real world perks. And their point being that critics say the perks are insignificant. One offered the chance to vote for songs to be played in stadiums. Clubs have insufficient protection for supporters. Well, yeah, of course they do, but that's actually a part and parcel of an open market, a free market. But a lot of the fan tokens do offer something, and they're a starting point for what will be to come, which will be NFTs based in and around, like your baseball cards and stuff. I find it very odd that there's a ridiculous narrative here pointing at this being controversial. It's part and parcel of the free market. So there are meaningful perks. There's offers such as 5% discounts on the digital shop, possibilities to win tickets, and obviously they've got the opportunity to make profit on the things that they buy and sell. I find it very odd. Another way clubs are getting into the crypto products is through NFTs. We know this. Some fans have spent money on NFTs, which are unique digital images. One millionaire NFT collector, Mike Busis, said he spent about 40K on 5 of these. And they were basically digital images and videos with built-in code. But they represent ownership. And again, it's like with anything, you now own it, you can do what you want with it. Public records indicate Man City made 80 grand from 2 sets of NFTs. Yeah, it's very weird. It's quite clear that they are more upset with football teams making money than they are with looking at this with any level of depth. There's a reason digital art has run wild this year, because there's a level of ownership to unique pieces of art. You now own them. You can do with them what you want. There's a potential for you can display them, online. You can effectively give permission for them to be utilized in adverts down the line. You can bake passive income from these very possibly. There's again, BBC have done no research, but more done your typical mainstream media work of sensationalized writing. Disappointing to see, but not surprising. Yeah. So the market's been open for a little bit of time. We'll see how today plays out. The Evergrande FUD is for sure still hovering. And here we go. Chinese market slip after Fitch downgrades Evergrande to default. Yeah. No, none of it's actually new news. Most people realized they were probably going to default on debt because the debt was too high. it's a very, very odd thing that this is continuing to cause FUD. It's not new news, but the ratings change is new news. That's it. But beyond that, there's not new news. Everyone knew they were going to default on some level of the debt. They can't feasibly pay that. They've over leveraged themselves, and now they're struggling to cope under the weight of their debt. But it's not insignificant. Evergrande are such a big thing. They could feasibly crash the markets globally if they were to collapse. Just, again, you're in a position where there's so many banks and institutions that will prevent that from happening. I think that's effectively what we all believe and expect to see. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. It's certainly been having repercussions across the market all day for the last 2 days. And as we can see at the moment, it does appear to be that crypto is actually very much in line with what's happening in the stocks. And so with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, with the S&P 500, we saw the opening pretty strong, and then fairly in the first sort of 10 minutes, and then a fairly strong retrace. So we'll see how this plays out. But NASDAQ, to be fair, started and then dropped straight off the bat. It's recovered a bit of ground, but at the moment, crypto in particular is mirroring a lot of what's happening with the S&P. And while the S&P is a little bit up right now, it's retraced in the last sort of 15 minutes or so, and so is Bitcoin, almost to the minute. So, yeah, keeping an eye on the S&P 500. What happens here is probably going to be mirrored with Bitcoin, and as a result, that will ripple down to the altcoins. Be interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, Bloomberg analyst bullish that the US are going to properly embrace crypto in 2022, and if that happens, that is certainly bullish. Fingers crossed, guys. Anyway, that's it from me. Hope you're all keeping well. Little mini news update. If you're new to crypto, like I said, check out Copy My Crypto. It's where I share my portfolio. My portfolio has been outperforming the market, and on top of that, we've had some nice wins recently. But one thing that you've got to bear in mind is that a bear cycle will come sooner or later. It's not there now, but it will come, and when it does, there's an opportunity there. Everything's on discount, everything's underpriced. And when you're looking at past cryptos that have done well, you can see trends and you can see coins that are very, very undervalued, and there's good investments to be made there. It's all I do during a bear cycle, and I can't wait to share those coins with everyone at Copy My Crypto. I've got a spreadsheet that is as long as my arm at the moment, and I'm just going to be whittling it down during the bear cycle. Anyway, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.